Hi guys. So this morning our Ford Territory ignition broke. What happened was when you turn it, actually it didn't click when you go into the starting mode, and didn't return back, which also caused quite a lot of other electrical issues. The ICC, the in-car computer, was playing up. Some features weren't even activated on the screen. A few warning lights were coming on as well, so I thought it was probably a good time to fix this common issue. And it pretty much only just happened overnight. My wife must have turned the key and the little ignition barrel gave way. So I've taken the steering column out. It's quite a relatively easy job, a bit fiddly. As you can see, now a common problem is this unit goes in here, and then you have the backing plate crimped in here like so. A common problem is this will actually break off and separate. Luckily for me, I didn't have that problem. The backing was still tight in here, but where my problem was is, if you can see in here, there's a little, get my finger in there, little cast tab. Now it's quite thin, as you can see. It's snapped off. Now I had 2 clicks, and then the last one was not even there, so it was a bit sloppy. That tab, I guess, sits in there where the return spring is. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it up. Okay, first things first, I got the Dremel and I just grinded it flat. Now the method of fixing this I'm going with is I'm going to drill 2 holes on either end of where the tab used to be. I'll try and get it as close to the edge of the boss, and then I'm going to feed a bit of wire. I'm going to bend it over so it mimics a tab. Okay, so I've center punched where my 2 holes are going to be, at the width of the tab originally. Try to get as close to the edge as possible. I don't want to go putting my new tab in a location where it's not going to work properly. The tab has to sit inside, where is it? The tab has to sit inside that groove. So when this turns, and once you get to your starting sequence is where it'll catch that spring, and then one click over, the car will start. Once you let go of the key, the tension of the spring will bring it back. So that's all it's there for. So yeah, you don't want to go putting a tab so it's out here and not actually doing anything, and yeah, pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to carefully drill the 2 holes. Now, just remember, this is a 1.5mm bit. Don't go putting crazy pressure on it, because you're just going to snap them. And I don't know about you, but every time you see a drill bit kit, the 1mm, the 1.5mm, sometimes even the 2 and the 2.5mm drill bits are always missing. Why? Because dickheads like us put too much pressure on it and snap them. And this is only cast, I think, cast aluminium. Don't take my word for it. So I'll just slowly and lightly drill the 2 holes, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so the 2 holes have been drilled. Pretty easy. I've made my dodgy little bit there. As far as, because what I'm gonna do is this, the two bottom legs here, they're gonna sit. I've made that bit long enough so the those two legs are gonna sit down in there. I'll just grab a pointer of some sort. Yeah, it's gonna rest up against this little section here, the inner housing. I'm pretty sure that should be fine. I mean, there's no mechanism inside this area anyway to worry about. So I didn't want to have it too short, otherwise it might just flop about in and out. And so I guess if it's long enough, it touches the bottom, it should stay fairly solidly. So it's pretty much, try and do it with the camera. Bend it nicely and slide it in there. I'll have to do it with the camera not running, obviously. I might even maybe put a bit of Loctite in a drop of Loctite in the two little holes just to hold it in there more firmly, but it shouldn't fall out that way, if you know what I mean. Once everything's back in, this will have nowhere else to go but stay inside the hole. Just for anyone who's playing at home, I'll just measure up that because I seem to have gotten the height right. Alright, so yeah, so it's about 20 mil. That should possibly be the perfect length. Sweet, so it's in, and it seems to be nice and solid actually, so pretty happy with that. Let's put the little nylon bit in and just give it a bit of a try. I've got the key. No, I don't have the key in ignition. I'll put the key in ignition. So put this in. Obviously, inside there you can see on the right there's a thicker sort of keyway, and on the left is a thinner one, so it only goes one way. Pretty easy. Just match it with the nylon part there. There we go. Nice. So looks like the positioning of the little tab is spot on. Now I'll just put the key in the ignition, and remember the problem with this one, when you go to start it, it just pretty much like fell into the start sequence and it wouldn't return back. So that's obviously why the aircon and the ICC was all playing up, because I think once you're in a start sequence, some of your electronics are turned off until it clicks back into accessories. Yeah, pretty sure that's how it works. So, all right, we'll turn it. So that's accessory on ignition, and it's returning. So that seems to be quite successful. Doesn't feel unusual. Feels actually nice and tight. So no worries. So what I'm going to do now is put everything back in. I'm going to have to remember how it all went back in, but I'll record it once I've played around with it for a bit, and then I'll let you know. So I've cleaned up the housing, gave it a light grease. Obviously, I cleaned it up, got rid of all the little shavings from drilling. I've also dropped the two ball bearings in. They go opposite each other in a little rectangle sort of notch. So the next step is to put the plastic nylon section in. On either end you can see the little springs seated inside their cavities. Give it a bit of a grease as well and pop it on like I showed earlier. It's always a good idea to do this with the key in a lock position. Yep, just like that. And then the spring goes like that, and the electrical connection, little copper plate, will go over there like so. Make sure that the cutout next to the hole there obviously lines up with the tab there. And then the black plastic connector will go on over the top and squeeze it all down and clips in. Just another tip before final assembly. Unusually, these, I don't know what you call them, these bits here on this vehicle is actually in good shape. They when I pull the steering column out, the black electrical connector that holds everything in was still in one piece. Sometimes if you have ignition barrel problems, you'll find when you take everything apart and you go to remove the steering column that the backing has fallen off. That's because it's either cracked, or these little lugs, I'll call them, sort of straighten out and don't provide a decent clamp on the connector. So yeah, mine are in good condition and they held it nicely, but because they're where they should be, putting the black connector is going to be a bit of a pain. So I'm going to have to push these out so I can fit the connector in, only slightly. I don't want to go moving too much metal, and then I can get a punch and squeeze them back in to hold the connector, the backing nice and tight. Okay, so it's all clipped in, as you can see. If you pay attention to these little lugs, you can see I've sort of, pushed it out a bit, and that one I pushed it out quite a bit. And yeah, now I'm just going to punch them back in so they clip it nicely. Obviously this only goes one way. Easiest way to tell is there's a little cutout on the plastic bit and on the housing, and then everything will line up. So I'm just going to push these little bits out, lock it all into place, give it another test and make sure everything's all good now that everything's under tension, and then install it back into the car, and hopefully it works. Okay, squeezed all those lugs into the little homes. Just need to do it very gently, as you can see here. I went fucking gun-ho and looks ugly as shit, but doesn't matter, functional. Or we can just ignore that and just look at these two. Yeah, they look nice, beautiful, cool. So I'll install them into the car, and yeah, hopefully it all works. Alright guys, moment of truth. Everything's all back together. Probably took longer than the repair itself to get the car back to its original stage. So we'll give it a bit of a test. And the key returns. And I don't know if you can see, but the aircon graphics are up. No warning lights other than the seatbelt. No warning lights are on the dash. So yeah, she's back to normal. This repair cost all of $0. If you were to get a replacement steering column from Ford, you're looking at about, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500. I haven't actually priced it, but I'm just going by prices I've seen on forums. So hopefully this video has given you the confidence to maybe give it a go yourself. Here's a bit of a hit and miss. I gave it a shot, and I wasn't really confident that it was going to work. And it's the first repair of this manner I've done to the car. I thought I'd record it and show everyone my process. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Pretty successful. Okay, well, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you around.